Hello, everybody, and welcome back. All we were doing on the break was talking about how Ollie refuses to be a good girl. He'll only be Eric's bad girl. It's
Not just Eric.
I'm
Just,
exci-
I'm,
I'm
I'm just I'm a
excited,
bad
guys.
girl in general. I'm so bad I can't be locked down to one man
Oh, okay. Well then.
unless
Well
you
then.
lock me down in a kinky way.
Well, I mean,
Hey, got him.
I've got handcuffs. They just ain't no fuzz.
Where's that fan art, boys?
Who wants fuzz nowadays? It's 2018, you know.
Yeah,
Everything's
you want to
grungy.
feel the cold metal cutting into your flesh. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want
like if it doesn't hurt, it's just not happening.
Gerald game.
What was the
Gerald
god that
game,
you
my
thought
pleasure. Gerald
Eric's campaign was going towards? I'm gonna be a cleric of them and.
Oh, Leviatar.
Tor?
Leviathan.
Cat of nine
Like,
tails.
sex
The
toy.
symbol is literally a cat of nine tails.
Yeah.
That's like, hey-oh. Right.
Alright, well, yeah. So, I guess at this point we're headed back to the crew.
Yep, absolutely. It takes you, a couple days, several days, like 2 days, just to get back to the town.
We ignored
But then
difficult
you
terrain,
need to.
just so you
Yeah,
know.
oh, I'm aware. And then you
Right.
still have to head to. They're
Sure,
heading.
that's it.
They were heading towards the other town, but not going into it, I believe. So let's go over to Kieran and Stalbor. What were you guys doing that whole while?
I am magically sensing my way to a ley line, a place of power.
And
It's a magic swamp. Gotta be ley lines.
Why are we
I
trying to
met the
find your
guy
way?
at one,
Why are we trying to find your way to a place of power?
so that I can do some necromancy and summon my friend,
Okay.
because
Well.
he'll sense it.
Okay.
There's logic. Why do you think I cut off the hat? It all makes sense.
You can do it.
So I find a
Because obviously you cast detect magic and you go
Yeah,
searching
yeah,
around
yeah.
for a long while and da da da. So you spend time. You actually spend about 2 days just trying to find like a good spot. That's how long it takes for them to even get to where they're going. So you're
Oh,
good.
great.
Yeah.
If I knew that, I'd be like, haha. And then when I'm so where are we, Scott? Describe this place. Is it just like a
Absolutely.
normal
So
place.
you are actually inside the swamp, but more than that, the exact spot that you're going into is inside the swamp. There is this huge tree, a tree that grew much larger than all the other trees around it in this area. Maybe there's magic involved. Maybe it was. As a matter of fact, why don't you roll me a nature check?
First of all, I had to call someone out in chat.
Oh, hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay,
And then
so
I had to go from my spell page to my. And then I had to find things.
So anyways, I think okay, so if we're gonna talk about that, since you brought it up, I think a campaign without humans in the party is a campaign done poorly.
I think a lot of people in D&D just think humans are boring. It's like you're just doing your setting wrong.
Yeah,
Token
You're
human.
just doing it wrong. If humans are boring.
it
You've
just
done
it looks in a world where 87% of all people are human. We're gonna have a party of 4 adventurers that gather together.
understand.
You're
I
gonna have
understand, but-
scaled person with huge tail that breathes fire. You're gonna have red skinned with thin tail that magically does fire and has horns. You're gonna have angelic skinned, blue eyed, gold haired, smells good person that has angel blood. And
I
a,
get
we have
and a
fantasy
gnome.
of playing a different race.
Like-
but there's still fantasy in being a human in a fantasy land, unless your DM is bad at telling a story and
And you know,
more making a
we
setting.
we had such a great party breakdown where we had 2 humans and then 2 non-humans. And Scott, what happened to those humans?
I don't know what you're talking about. So let's move on. There's so many of them. You could just,
Humans are replaceable, right? They've grown so fast.
So with your 22, you actually, as you're looking at this tree, you actually come to realize maybe why it is that this happens to be one of those crossroads of wells of magic. This isn't just a tree that grew so large it fell over and uprooted in this huge roots here. No. This is in fact a dead treant. That is here and decomposing. And so the exact spot where the biggest well of magic is actually you kind of have to wade into the water, so it's a little above your knees, which you're like, I know I'm getting leeches. This is gonna happen. So as you
Leeches want me.
It's a good question.
I don't.
Does
think they
anybody want you? So it's actually where the roots are reaching
surreal,
into
dude.
the ground, right underneath where that is. That's actually where this little well of magic is, right underneath where the roots of this tree are. And as you make your way into that area, into that pool, you can actually see somewhat up into the corpse of the treant.
Sweet. There. Kieran, do you follow me?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take the hand. We can leave the horse behind with N, unless N wants to really come with, but I'd probably be like, keep him company. I'll take the hand. And this is one of those things where I can't technically do this, but it makes sense. I want to cast Animate Dead on the hand to make it one of those crawling things. But mostly it's just powerful necromancy. I just want to summon all the necromancy I can to raise this thing. You know what I mean? They're called like crawling claws or whatever. But that's the point, and the intent is because it's such a powerful place of magic. The albino dragon lizard folk that I met, who is watching the forest, would sense it. Because we discussed like we'll meet again, but not how. And
So
this is kind of
all
his-
you want is like the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
I know exactly what that spell is in 3.5, and I could totally grab the book that actually
I
technically
don't
is
think
3.0.
it exists.
It doesn't exist in 5e, does it?
No, that's why. I mean, this is the spell I have, and it also kind of...
Don't worry about it. I already know how I would treat it anyways, so it's fine. I can stat that out for you because it's instantaneous. I can stat that out for you for the future, but it's only under your control for 24 hours. To maintain control after the 24 hours, you have to cast the spell on a creature again.
I doubt I'll probably keep it around, but still.
Yep.
Who knows?
Hey, what is it? Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun. There we go. Took me a
Okay, so
moment.
real talk.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
equivalent
that's
elementary
right.
school-
Snaps, not claps.
My
So
equivalent elementary
you
school
cast
had
your
a thing
spell.
where you had to sing that
Oh, really?
every day.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
it wasn't that. It was like a semi-religious hymn version.
Sounds like a cult.
You actually
hate
know what? I think I know exactly what you're talking about. We did the same thing at a summer camp.
I hated it.
That's awful.
I don't want to be made to sing.
Well, no, because it ruins the movie for you. When you force people to do something from a movie, they're not going to appreciate a good movie.
Yeah.
They're going to
that's what-
associate
There's
this
like a-
horrible
There's
experience.
like a
Adam's
religious,
family
like
because
before
of-
eating thing.
Okay,
Anyway,
so
I
moving
don't
on.
like it.
Moving on. So you cast a spell, you create the creature, and I imagine it freaks Kieran out a little bit.
Yeah, I would also be very showy and waving black magic in the air kind of thing.
That works.
Not
That's
showy.
fucking creepy. Yeah.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah. I'm just
like,
letting you know. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Holding
fucking
up in
creepy.
both my hands. What? Sorry, excuse me?
It's a little fucking creepy. That's a hand.
I know.
I won't lie, Stallbore. I do think that it's a little
Unsettling?
unsettling. Yes, that's the word that I will use today.
I don't know what you're complaining.
My words were fucking creepy.
I'll say unsettling. Stallbore, when did you come by these magics?
Look at me.
You haven't always had them, have you? Okay, you didn't. You've recently developed them?
I've always known how to raise the dead. Getting it to work again has been 2 years of my life.
I understand that. And you said now we're supposed to wait?
Well, if he's anything like me, he would have felt that.
She'll go over and she'll actually pull like some rations out of her pack and like sit down and just start eating.
Ah, good idea. And then with like the same hands, and I imagine I don't even have gloves now. So the same hand that's got like the crawler, and I'll like put it on my shoulder, and my hands are all goopy. I'll like get a ration pack and start eating.
He gets little crumbs on his face and it wipes it off for him.
Yeah.
So you guys sit there. Actually, several hours pass before it happens. It's kind of like you're getting ready for camp. You know what I mean? Which you don't mind. You're fine with camping out here or whatever. Before finally the creature actually... the way that you know it's happening is you feel like a cold presence come across you, Stallbore. You feel this like cold presence come across. Could you roll me a perception check? You actually see a shade or shadow or whatever move that had moved through or by you is actually stretching out across the ground in front of you, and it's almost like moving through and across the swamp.
I'll stand up and just be like, Kieran, stay here and don't kill anything. I mean, everything you're about to see is probably already dead, and it is confusing when it gets to that sort of situation. Keep the lightning in your pants, and then I'll turn and leave. And then I'll turn back and be like,
That was a very odd way to phrase that. Yeah.
I won't say that again. And
Okay.
I'll walk into the tree.
As you're walking over there, En is actually going to go to Kieran and speak quietly to her when he's a little bit out of earshot and be like, Kieran, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, me too.
Do you see the way he nuzzles them?
What? No. What do you mean?
Are we talking about Stalbor?
Yeah. What do you mean nuzzling?
Luca's equipment.
Oh, I thought you meant the hand. I was like, I was very confused for a second there.
Have you never been to Karnath?
Very briefly.
Oh, unfortunately, I spent some time there in my childhood. I've grown painfully used to the sight of undead creatures. It's just...
I mean, undead fine, but when you said cuddling them, I was concerned.
Well, cuddling an undead thing, I can at least understand to some degree. But cuddling the clothes of your dead friend?
That's where I draw the line.
I am worried too, but I don't want to bring it up right now. Give him some time.
I think giving him too much time has pushed him further into the hole. Since
Have we
things...
given him too much time? He has a lifespan of centuries.
Every day that he stayed on the ship with us, he's fallen further and further. He's become more and more reclusive. And as things turned more and more dour, it got worse and worse with each passing day. And now he's lost, well, I mean, honestly, the best of you all, by way of Stalbor's, friendship.
I'll talk to him.
I mean, not here, but it needs
Not
to
here,
be
but
done.
soon.
And perhaps without alcohol?
I was fine.
I understand different people get over things differently. For instance, you had a very heavy hand in killing my parent and my sibling. And we are now friends.
Parent. There was one.
That's what I said, parent and sibling.
I thought I said parents.
No. My parent and sibling. Oh, that's why it did sound like an S the way I just said it too quickly. Gotcha. So, my parent and sibling. And we are now friends. But I've also lived a very different life than him.
Yeah. I don't know if he's capable of getting past this in a healthy way.
He's gonna have to learn to, or his life is about to get a lot worse.
Yeah.
We are still heading to the Lazar Principalities, are we not?
Yeah.
Do we think all of us are gonna get out alive?
No.
Takes like a deep breath, and then as she exhales, she will offer you like a swig of something that she has with her, even though she just talked about no alcohol.
Yep.
and then makes her way back over to the other side. As she's walking away, she knows how alone you guys are, so she actually turns back to you. But when she looks back at you, she looks to you in her true form.
Mhm.
So it's G's looking at you, and G says in a voice that's strange but familiar at the same time, says, "I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the other personality. He was an old friend of mine.
You don't have to apologize to me.
I know that he can be obnoxious, but I always found it endearing, and so when I lost him, I took him as a part of myself.
I enjoyed him.
I'm glad. Perhaps." And there's kind of like lingers for a few seconds. Then G shakes her head and turns back, and you can see just by the hair growing out and whatnot that G turned back into the end that you know. And so she walks over and like sits down where she was before and kind of then goes introvert, like thinking about something. Okay? All right. Oh, do you say something?
There was something I wanted to ask you, Ed.
It takes a few moments, and then like, oh, huh?
There was something I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
Since we're talking about the principalities and morbid subjects, anyway, might as well get on with it. If anything, I have a tendency to, do dangerous and foolish things. So, should I do that and it results in my death, would you take over as Karen and get everyone out safely as possible?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that? Because I only caught half of it.
She's asking N to take over as Karen should she die and get everyone out of the principalities. If it comes to that.
Do you mean without them knowing?
They can know. As much as they have to.
If Luca were here, you know that wouldn't be an option.
Luca's not here.
Which might make it even worse for Stalbor, seeing it as a knowing that I would only do that since Luca's not here and he's in a fragile state. Yes, I'm willing to do what you ask. I just fear the consequences of my actions.
It was one of the reasons I wanted you with me.
Yeah, I'm willing to do what you're asking.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then once again falls back into herself. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we're gonna cut back over to Stalbor. You go kind of like walking across, but even as you're kind of like pulling yourself through the muck of like the water that you're making your way through, you can actually see him on the other side standing there. His pale scales make it so he's kind of like stands out in the darkness that you're in. And so he's just patiently waiting for you. So he's like right up on the bank, so you can speak to him whenever you'd like.
Yeah, I'd wait until I get out the water and like dry myself off a bit, and then I turn to him and like, unfortunately, this is business, not pleasure.
Isn't everything?
Yes, I find that on the mainland, it is. The creatures that destroyed your civilization.
Yes.
The city of New Throne is now plagued with them. We were
them?
We were dealing with a human in that settlement. Well, it's very hard for me to understand humans, but it turns out that he was one of them and was sending people into the forest to basically slaughter them. And his body is in motion. It's like he's already undergone some mild transformation, and based on how we've been treated in the city, I think the entire place is infected, for lack of a better word.
Is he, right now, more man or more thing?
More man than the ones that shamble through the muck.
Have you experimented? Is that what I sensed?
He'll pull from like the bag the crawling claw,
Which was his hand.
which was his hand, and then yeah, I guess I'll sort of like motion and it towards him, like, yeah.
It just like grabs it, it's like, and like looking it over, and like grabs like part of its palm and like rips it open, and like looks at the stuff, like looks at the insides of it and whatnot, and like grabs a finger and like breaks one of the fingers, like inspecting it.
You know, like when you're a kid and you hand someone your toy and they manhandle it. That's Stalbor's expression. But he's not gonna stop him because he gets it. But it's like,
Bruh.
a little awkward.
So he does this like little understanding of it, and then he takes it and he kind of like, throws it on the ground, like unceremonious toss to the ground, like near your feet, knowing it's gonna like back over to you. And it's like, yes, I think I want that body if you're not using it.
We were thinking of perhaps showing it to human authorities so that they knew about this plague.
What are they gonna do?
Quarantine.
The humans will use very foolish methods. Ignore it, and it kills them anyways. Already be them, in which case they kill you for telling them. Or they burn down the woods.
We elves have a far easier time with the concept of quarantine. There are entire parts of Aeronel that no one is to step into, and if a human was there, they'd just walk past, saying, what could be the worst thing that could happen?
You are referring to the methods of you.
I understand. You're correct.
These are humans. They will just burn everything.
Perhaps. But if there's no way to convince them of the problem, and from at least our personal experiences, I believe... Was it Waycrest?
Wait,
Scott?
what? Oh, his name?
No, Waycrest is the town we were in before. You thrown Waycrest?
Grab the map. I actually have it up right here.
Adelport. It was
Oh, there you go.
Adelport.
Adelport. Yep. I was gonna have the map. I just gotta open it at my other computer.
The humans of Adelport at least weren't trouble. I would like to try. It'll go horribly wrong. Inevitably. But ultimately, I would like to try. If you want more of them, there are more of them in Uthrone.
I want this thing dead. And so, if there is a way that you think the humans can help, help is help.
What do you mean, this thing?
This creature, we've discussed it before.
You speak of it like it's one organism.
The creature that I hunt, that took my people. It,
Uh,
and then, and they become these creatures.
Now that you mention it, hive mind intelligence, cult-like activity. That makes sense.
It could be more than one. I just know what it does.
That's all you need to know. I thought you would like to know that the humans were infected in Uthrone.
Which ones were infected? Is it going for the chieftains?
Wouldn't they always?
That's what they did to my people.
Captain of the Guard, head of House Cannith, although I assume that means very little to you, even less than it does to me. I imagine anyone in any kind of place of power is probably a plant. In more ways than one.
It actually... Yes, I'm familiar with Kenneth. From the years I spent studying my magics in Karnath.
Yes, of course. And Samuel kind of like thinks for a bit because the main reason he did this was to tell him.
Of course.
And he's trying to think there's any other.
No. So he's also thinking too. So he eventually says, listen, if you want these humans to have any chance of surviving or aiding me, then there is really only one thing you can do. Discover, display, and destroy all of these ones that are taken as slaves.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think that's the best decision.
I don't know much about this creature. I just know that it has taken every one of mine, and it'll take every one of them as well.
you don't suppose that the enthralled humans in New Throne would return to it? Perhaps very rarely. Perhaps you may be able to find it, and if you do, I would urge you not to take it on alone.
To deliver goods.
To deliver goods, to relay information, to sacrifices.
You said hive mind. Hive mind would insinuate you don't need to go back for informations.
But we were attacked by them, and only ever the enthralled ones, one at a time. Either way, if you watch New Throne, you might see more people heading into the forest. If they look like adventurous types, they're most likely sent to just die. But anyone that looks important could lead to a hideaway.
Are there any tells? Do they behave differently?
Their skin does start to turn green under the right light.
Well, that's unfortunate. Two things. Lizard folk already were green, so there is no way for us to tell. And beyond that, I'm colorblind.
Rip.
He then would
Very common feature for albino people.
Yeah, he'll glance around. He's like, "Are your hands?" And he'll motion to the shades.
They don't perceive color.
I suppose they don't need to.
I will think on this. I will find a means. You have brought me much good informations. And the body. May I have the body?
Let me ask my companions. I'm sure they don't want to keep a hold of it for much longer.
Oh shucks, you're taking the body from us?
And I'll just straight up like turn around and walk back over to those two. Like,
He'll actually give you like a gesture, like one of those, do you want me to come with you?
he would just wait. They're not the most understanding creatures.